Okay, so we're hot. Shall we light this candle?
Let's do it.
This bill legalizes sawed-off shotguns.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to ShiftLess. I was distracted there. Bradford was playing with his mouse. Did you make it squeak?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Are you wireless with the mouse again now?
I'm wireless with a mouse, but my trackpad's still no work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, weather's always a factor.
Weather is always a factor, as is travel times and good, adventures and man, so much catching up to do.
Man,
today.
there really is. There really is.
I've missed you.
I thought I'd never hear that.
It's been a while. It's been a minute. Isn't that what the cool kids say? It's been a minute.
I think that saying's over, but
Oh.
in typical fashion, we can just keep kicking it down the road.
What do the cool kids say these days? Do you have any clue?
I have no clue. I haven't been a cool kid for some time.
At least you were a cool kid once. A skateboarding fiend.
I was never as cool as I thought I was.
I am not going to disagree with I think lots of us can say that.
Yeah.
Particularly people that ride bicycles.
So
There's really nothing cool about riding a bicycle in spandex to the general public.
yeah.
But to other bicycle riders, there's a lot cool in it. That's why it's a niche upon a niche upon a niche.
It really is. It really is. It's kind of interesting, especially being in the middle of nowhere and encountering people and like, what are you doing?
What the hell are you
What are you
doing? Whenever I'm trying to talk to people about, hey, I'm scouting this route, or I'd like to use your venue, or going to the Forest Service or the Wildlife Management Office. Hey, what you want to do? These are motorcycles, right? We don't do motorcycles. No, these are pedal bicycles.
Right.
How far are you going?
And the classic, I even heard it yesterday. I wouldn't even want to drive that far. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
And all I want to do is figure out how to even ride my bike further. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I'm not even sure what episode we're on.
I don't even know.
I think it's 117. I think we put 116 in the can, but I'm not sure. It's well over 100, and it's not 120 yet. I know that we're somewhere along those lines, and there is no theme to this one, folks.
Yeah, it is catching up.
Okay, there's lots of catching up to do.
Yeah,
because.
But before we start, can we just acknowledge this brief moment in weather?
Texas weather is astounding at the moment, and I was so very pleased to come back to it. We had amazing weather in Georgia.
That seems counterintuitive.
Oh, it was
yeah,
totally unexpected.
Yeah,
and it's why our trip got stretched out by a week. It's like we ain't going back to 100 degrees in Texas when this is just absolutely gorgeous.
But we haven't had. I think we. And I didn't exactly count them, but we may have had 3 100-degree days.
I think when we looked at the weather for that, we'll call it the transition week, the up in the air week, it was 100 plus was the forecast for home anyway.
Yeah.
For like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if I remember it. I don't know. And it did finally start returning to normal late August, early September temperatures in Georgia when towards the end, like Thursday afternoon got a little warm. Friday was hot, but we were leaving pre-dawn Saturday to come back this way and just drove straight through. All right, Leonard. I need you to go another direction. I missed you too.
Come here, buddy.
Dogs like me. I found out rabbits like me too on this trip.
Wait, is that like a smoke joke?
Smoke joke? What's a smoke joke?
Like when you're sitting around a campfire, you're supposed to say like, "I hate rabbits," to make smoke not come to your face.
No. Visited a long lost friend that I hadn't seen in decades, and
They raise rabbits.
one of their pets was a rabbit.
Oh, okay.
And
It was a pet rabbit.
It was a pet rabbit. I don't think I've ever been around a pet rabbit before, but I could be mistaken. And did you find a wet spot?
I did. I sat in this cushion the other night, and it didn't get my bottom wet.
So what was the precipitation situation around here the last few weeks? I thought I saw some trail closures and stuff like that along the way.
We got on Friday. We got a major storm came through. I wasn't local, but high winds. It flipped planes at the Denton Muni Airport.
Okay.
And then there was a good bit of precipitation. I don't know exactly how much rain, but there was closed the trail, but couldn't have been that much. I rode North Shore last night, and it was already
And it was fine.
sandy again.
Okay.
So
All right.
I did get to weather test my tent though.
Okay. Sounds like there might be a story there.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to that one.
I don't know. I mean, do you want to start on that, or do you want to talk about something else first? Or
I got a feeling once we go into your adventure, we're not coming back from anything else. But I could be wrong. You had enough miles to tell multiple stories. I'm assuming.
I had a lot of good stories. Yeah.
You did the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of fluffed the end of it. I got to a certain point, and I was like, my brain turned off, and I was just like, oh, I know where I am now.
Sure.
And I just came home.
Well, and I figured it would work that way.
Yeah.
For you. That's why I wasn't too, like you had sent the message about the green belt. It's like, well, duh.
But I was past the point of no return at that point. I was like,
That route was made in 2016. You
oh,
realize?
was it? Well, you need to amend a couple of things.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, but it was a good exercise for me. Like even the portions that weren't accurate.
So, and we'll go in depth in it in a little bit, but first of all, what the hell are they talking about? So, kind of out of nowhere, Brad sent me a message the last week I was gone, which was last week. I think. I don't know. I've lost track. It's a blur. Hey, do you have a 250 or 300 mile route? And I assumed this was a rat warm up. Plus, let's really try out the tent concept, but we'll go deeper into that. And I had a route handy that was originally called the Dick route, DIK. It was a Do It Kevin route. Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be my glorious comeback route, and then I had my bad concussion. And I never got a chance to. So it's a 300 miler that hit a bunch of the high spots. Some of the
definitely some high spots.
Some of the greatest hits of spin history routes in North Texas.
Man, so pretty.
And it turned into we put together some FKT, what we call FKT routes, that were basically meant for people to try on their own at different times. And that became our Denton 300 mile FKT route that I don't know that anybody, I think Justin might have done it. I don't know that anybody else. I don't. If you've got feedback, then
unless I'm confused, did you have a 200 mile FKT?
We had. There was like it would be a 50, a 100, a 200, and a 300.
For some reason, I think he did the 200.
That sounds right. I think I might have been holding the 300 until we got. And then what we found with the FKT, when we had a McKinney one, we had some around Austin, we had them in a multitude of places. But you've touched on what the issue is that there's no way to stay on top of.
No, and I didn't. Well, I wish that I would have known how old the route was, because I just took it and ran with it, but I made it work.
Sure.
let's just get into this because
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I do want to touch on one aspect of it though, and I in our quickie back and forths on it, you had asked me to reverse it, and so I did not. Usually, when I reverse a route, I'll overlay it with the old route to see where it differentiates. Because Ride with GPS, when it
reverses, it gets squirrely.
Sometimes it does stupid shit.
Well, I didn't ride the reverse route.
Okay.
And to be fair, our communication was so short and sweet. I just said, I was trying to figure out on Ride with GPS, how do you just reverse something? And I was on my computer, not on my phone. And we both know that I'm not the most technologically savvy. And so I just sent you a text and said, how do I reverse this on Ride with GPS? And typical Kevin, you're just like, I sent it to you. Like, instead of saying, hey, dipshit, it's at the bottom left-hand corner, or just Google it, or,
I didn't know what capability.
Yeah.
So that's where I get lost myself with Ride with GPS, because with my account, I've got access to everything.
Oh, that's
so
fair.
I don't know what other people's are able to and not able to do.
That's fair. Well, I was just trying to puzzle out the logistics, just seeing how I could manage the daily mileage, because I was trying to make it as close to 100 a day as I could, but it turned out it worked out perfect. Like I wouldn't have changed anything except for that greenbelt section, but that was unavoidable without clipping off a bunch of miles, cutting a bunch of miles, or being on some roads that I didn't want to be on.
Yeah, right.
So well, we'll get there, but so it was definitely meant as I started to realize that the temperatures were going to dip into the 60s this past weekend. I hadn't tested my tent truly, and I wanted to test my legs, test my rat setup, test my bike, and just see if I even was mentally prepared to do Race Across Texas. It was kind of like, this is the last chance I'm going to have to test myself that's not going to put me in a hole leading into Race Across Texas. And it was the window I had, honestly.
And realistically, it's almost perfect timing to try that ride.
Yeah.
So there was, you hit the sweet spot.
I really did. So that's what I did. I loaded up my bike. I got all my stuff ready. I packed everything I thought I needed, and I set off Friday morning at 7 a.m.
From the house.
From here, and the route went basically right by the house, and so I joined up with it at the bottom of John Payne and Crawford, and set off, and fairly uneventful, and the stops were perfectly spaced. I think the longest stretch I had was maybe 30-something miles, before a resupply. And there was quite a few that I just passed,
Sure.
I carried 4 bottles. I drank tons of fluids. It was hot on Friday. That was Kevin.
No, that was the Dragonfly.
I think on Friday the high was like 93 or something. So it got warm. I drank a lot of fluids, and it was fairly uneventful. My plan was to make it to Forestburg and have dinner, late dinner, early lunch, or whatever. But I packed food regardless. I packed ramen noodles.
It's food.
Yeah. I packed my stove. I brought a water filter, which I didn't even need.
Sure.
And Caleb even tried to talk me out of it.
I would have tried to talk you out of it.
But
the only place, there is no place you could have really used it, to be honest with you.
I know. In retrospect,
Hey.
But I would rather have it.
Was there really any harm in having it?
It ate up bag space that could have been used for food,
Sure. Good point. Now, on your ramen noodles, do you just throw them in there, or do you crush them up ahead of time? Or
I crush them up ahead of time just so they pack down.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
But they're also easier because I'm cooking them in a 700 milliliter cup.
I assumed as much.
Yeah. So.
Did you do anything to them, or did you just boil and eat?
Oh, I used the Bulldog ones though that are so good. Just as they are.
The Bulldog?
Buldak.
Okay.
It's a Korean brand, and they are freaking phenomenal.
All right. Available at all grocery stores? You got to go to some of those specialty ones.
No, I mean, they have them at my Kroger.
Okay.
Yeah. And they make a bunch of funky flavors. They have like curry, carbonara.
I can do almost anything.
I like the spicy chicken, but not the double spicy chicken.
Okay.
The spicy chicken.
Spicy, but not the double spicy.
The spicy chicken is enough to make you. The double spicy, you got to be ready for
So
it.
that gives you fire asshole the next day.
Oh, that's not that bad.
Okay.
So I set off from here, and the weather and traffic and everything was about as perfect as it could have been.
This was Friday, the warm day, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I made really good time. I mean, I wasn't trying to move fast. I was just trying to move steady. You know, just trying to play the long game, so to speak.
So the goal was 100-mile days for 3 days, 300 miles. That's where you started out mentally.
Yeah.
That was the plan. Okay.
But you sent the route, and I had plenty of time to digest it. I actually hooked my computer, brought it up on the computer, mirrored it onto my TV so I could look at it even better, and kind of started to break a bunch of it down and be like, oh, well, the route actually started at Hickory Street, I think, in Denton. And so I figured out that when I joined the route, I was actually going to be 10 miles into the route. So then I calculated mileage, and it looked like, because I thought initially, if you just track the mileage on the Ride with GPS route, it was going to be 120 miles before I got to the Grasslands, before I could even start looking for something to camp. And so I was like, man, that's not really what I wanted to do. But then I realized I'm going to be 10 miles into the route. So then I'm like, okay, 110.
110.
No big deal. And then the next day was going to be a somewhat lighter day, like in the 80-mile range. And then that was going to leave me with like 120 on day 3. So I was like, that all sounds doable, So I was planning on getting to Forestburg and eating, and then rolling up to Grasslands and setting up camp and doing whatever I had to do there. I need to make a public service announcement and let you know that on Friday, the Forestburg General Store Grill closes at 3 o'clock. So if you get there at 3:30, you're shit out of luck.
Your SOL.
So that's what happened to me.
Okay.
I got there at 3:30. So this is at like mile 90. And it had really been my beacon.
And for those that have missed other episodes, the grill at Forestburg, ain't shabby.
No, it's not.
It's not a bad stopover spot, but
It's quite the oasis.
yes.
I mean, if it was in the metro mess, it would be nothing. But
In the middle of
nowhere. Yeah.
After 90 miles on the bike. What? Oh, side note, before I forget, not trying to distract, we need to figure out some potential Chef's Kiss dates for the fall. But anyway,
Okay.
continue.
So I proceeded to drink all the fluids, Cokes and Yoo-Hoos, and I fell in love with Yoo-Hoos again on this trip.
Okay.
Gatorade, and ate a honey bun and a couple other things. And then I was going to just eat and drink and fill up bottles and leave, but there was a storm brewing. And it looked like it was just a little cell that was going to pass over. So I sat there for a little bit. And then finally I was just like, I guess it's not going to rain. And so I grabbed a honey bun for breakfast the next morning, because I was like, this would be a lot better than waking up and cooking oatmeal and all that. And I was also trying to get in that rat mentality of, I'm not going to be cooking food, I'm going to be eating on the go. So I took off riding from there, and I wasn't even 2 miles down I wasn't even to Schoolhouse Road from there, and it started raining. Like, it was light. It was just enough to be annoying.
Okay.
And I put on my rain jacket, and I proceeded, and it was kind of off and on, pitter patter, nothing heavy or anything. And I got to about mile 108, 110, somewhere in there. And at the corner, you had it routed through this piece of property into LBJ Grasslands. And I guess it makes sense that that route was so old because now it's gated. There's a house there. And it says no trespassing, no grasslands access. And I could see the dirt road going out of the back of the property. And it kind of parallels the road that goes next to the property. And I could see it. There's gate access. It's locked. No trespassing. There's another gate access. And it's locked. No trespassing. At this point, it's raining. Like raining. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, I need to be on that route. And I was like, I wanted to just hop the fence. But then again, my bike weighed 50 pounds probably. And I didn't want to cause any trouble with any landowners or anything like that.
And another quick side note, and what bike were you on?
Fargo.
Fargo rat loaded?
Oh, yeah.
Basically mimicking what you plan to do on the rat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably heavier than I will carry for the rat. So cell phone coverage was limited. And herein lies another inherent problem. My Garmin is touchscreen. My phone is touchscreen. My gloves are soaking wet. Take my gloves off. I'm trying to look at a map, try to figure out where I am, how I can get access. And it's one of those things like the map's taking forever to load because I have one bar if I stand with my mouth right. And in the middle of that, rain's hitting the screen, even though I'm trying to protect it. And it's like bringing up photos and Excel files. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, you know what? This is futile at this point.
And midget porn from 5 years ago.
And I was just like, you know, I'm not doing any good right here.
I'm sorry, little people.
Little bit. So I just carried on down the road, and it wasn't maybe another mile and a half. I saw the first Caddo Grassland access, and it was off to the left-hand side of the road. So I immediately went, oh, here's my space, because I was so ready to be done for the day. And so I pull up in there, and I didn't even bother getting too far from there. I didn't go way up in or anything. There was a grove of bodark trees right there. And so I was like, well, this is perfect. So I just pulled up under there. It was still kind of pissing rain a little bit, but there's a flat rock there and another rock right next to it. And I was like, this has got my name all over it. So I sat on that rock because that was my indicator. Like, this is going to be a good spot because the rock is dry and it's raining. So I sat there and kind of waited it out. And then it stopped for a couple of hours. I set up my tent, got that all sorted, changed clothes, got into dry clothes, and then cooked my ramen. And I was in bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
And this was your first tent setup since we had our steamy night?
Yeah.
No, we didn't have a steamy night together. Well, we were together, but in separate tents.
Yeah.
Also, another quick side note, since you brought it up, anyone else that's listening, if you ever pull up a Spinistry route or a Spinistry event or pull it from the organization routes, I highly recommend always downloading the route to your phone. You can download the routes and the maps. That way, if you're ever not in cell coverage, everything auto-populates.
I didn't think about that, but I did have it downloaded on my phone. I don't know what I was doing.
Sometimes if there's like a weak signal, you need to put it in airplane mode so it doesn't try to pull it down.
So here's how much of a nincompoop I am. Every time I wanted to access the route, I went back to my email and searched Kevin Lee and pulled up the route and clicked on the link and then let it load, and then I was looking at it.
That's one way to go about it.
I was operating on tired brain a little
That's
bit, you know.
Perfectly fine. There is no criticism here. So you had your dry rock. You had your grove of trees.
I set up my tent.
Tent was set up.
Yeah. I had dry clothes on.
So you changed to dry clothes. All right.
Tried to hang my clothes, but it was so humid.
So were these next day clothes that were dry, or were these your
These were my camp clothes. These were my
clothes?
camp clothes / alternate clothes.
Okay.
Everything I brought was able to be ridden in as an alternate, which did come into play later.
Okay.
Which was also something that I kind of chalked up for this is good rat thought process. I ate, it was early, and I was in bed, kind of winding down 8:30, and I could just feel, oh, it's about to get gnarly. And so I'm laying there like right at 9:00, and I pull up the weather app, and there's this huge cell just sitting right next to me. Like, how you can see the dot where you are? And I was like, oh, it's about to get gnarly. And I sent my wife a text, and, texts were taking like 5-10 minutes to go through, and or they would fail and whatever. And I was just like, I sent her a screenshot, which pictures take forever or don't go. And I said, well, we're about to see how good my tent is. And I said, wish me luck. And it started getting windy. And before the rain started, I heard this doosh, doosh. Sounded like heavy footprints right next to my tent. And I just had this chill go down my spine because I'm in the middle of nowhere by myself. And I don't know that anybody really knows where I am. I think Caleb was the only one that had my tracker. And so I had this like accelerated thought process like, what's going on? And it took me a solid like 2 or 3 minutes, and I was like, oh, those are Bodark apples falling out of the tree. That's what it was. The horse apple thing.
I was about to say, or what people call horse apples around here.
Yeah. And then
and they hurt.
Oh yeah. But so that was my next thought is, I hope they don't start falling on my tent. And then I started thinking, because it got super windy. And I was like, man, I didn't check for any widowmakers above my tent. And I was like, well, it's too late now because it was pouring rain at this point.
Yeah.
It was...
Bodark helps with that. So
yeah, it was pouring. My tent didn't falter at all. I mean, not even to the point where it was blowing in or anything. I'd had no guy lines,
Okay.
but I guess when I set my tent up originally, I didn't realize this, but there is a tie out in the middle of the backside of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran 6 stakes, one on each corner, one for the vestibule, and then one for that backside. So it brought the backside like another 12 inches off the side of the tent.
And creates a lot more airflow.
It does. I wish I would have realized that night we were so steamy. Tent was flawless. I stayed dry. And as soon as that big first storm came through, it got cool. I think it's the pool.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. That hum.
Yeah.
Yeah. You meant to turn the cleaner off?
No, we're good.
Okay.
The AI will fix it.
Yeah. But I didn't sleep well that night because I kept getting woke up by rain. It came in waves. And each wave was less than the last one, but it was enough to wake me up because it was, so I didn't sleep that well, but.
No earplugs?
No earplugs.
Always take earplugs.
I had earplugs, and yeah.
Okay.
But I also wanted to have my ears on because I was like, I'm always on the,
I get that.
I found a pocket knife right outside of Forestburg on the side of the road too.
Score.
Yeah. #road score. But that was on my bike. And as I was sitting there going, what am I going to do? I was like, so I didn't sleep very well and I was tired. I woke up the next morning and ate my honey bun and drank some fluids. And I wasn't in that big of a hurry that day. It was supposed to be much cooler weather. Like the high that day was 77. So, and I knew I was only going 75, 80 miles. So I was like, I'm not in a huge hurry. So I think I woke up about 7 o'clock maybe and started slowly getting my stuff together and mostly dicking around. And, but then as I was getting my stuff together, I was like, oh, I got to figure out how to get back on course. I was like, because I can't go through that property. And every road, if I continued, just took me further and further from the course. So I got all my stuff together, put wet clothes back on, which was fine. And then I had to backtrack, I don't know, like 2 or 3 miles and then take a road that cut across and got me back on course, which is easy. I can show you right where it was and you can fix it. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
And then carried on, and that was a tough day. That 75 miles was honestly tougher than the first day of 110, 111 miles.
Well, but that would have also been the hillier.
And now the wind's coming out of the north.
Okay.
And so if I wasn't going uphill, I was going into the wind.
And sometimes uphill into the wind.
Yeah, that did happen as well. But overall, I mean, it was like, I think it was 75 miles on the nose almost, and only like 3,600 feet, 3,700 feet of climbing, which the day before was 111 and like almost 6,000 feet of climbing. So very uneventful on that day as well. The one thing I will say is every day on my bike, I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours into my riding, my shifting started to go into crap. Like I would have to physically like manhandle my shifter, like feeling like, oh, I'm going to break it just to shift gears. So I stopped and looked at it a couple of times, and I would fidget with my cables. And, you know, I have a very kind of weird setup.
Oh, you've got that
ratio.
Yeah.
So it's a 12-speed conversion on a drop bar shifter.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the problem.
Maybe not directly. Well,
I'll.
Yeah.
So
you sorted it out.
So the next morning, that same morning, Saturday morning, before I left camp, the other thing the Bodoc tree is good for is it has low limbs that come straight out. So I stuck my seat over the tree and worked on my bike.
You got a bike stand.
Yeah, I got my shifting sorted out, and it worked flawlessly until about hour 4. And so I ended up standing on a lot of climbs because it just wasn't worth the effort to try to shift. And I ended up staying in a certain gear range because I really only had the availability of, I couldn't just throw across the whole gear range. And then so I lubed my chain Saturday morning, fixed my shifting, and then somewhere along the day, I lost my lube, my chain lube. I had a little small container, like those squirt containers, that I had refilled with Silka super secret stuff, like a wax-based chain lube. And I know right when it happened, I don't know where I was, but I heard something stunk, and I did a quick inventory, looked behind me, nothing on the ground that I could see. Inventory of bottles, made sure I had all my bottles, and all my bags were still there. Bags are zipped up, you know. I'm like, oh, no big deal. Keep going. I get to 4R that evening, try to figure out where I'm going to set up camp. I initially pulled up because there's nobody by the restrooms and showers and all that. And I leaned my bike up against the picnic table, and I was like, this seems all right. And then I was like, man, it might be better to have some company, you know? Maybe I can score a cold beer, you know? So you can kind of see across to the dispersed camping, you know, through the trees and stuff. And I see some campers, and I hear people kind of setting up and talking. And so I roll over there, and I was like, you guys care if I set up a tent over here? And they're like, no, not at all. And I started to unpack, and then I started thinking, I'm going to be getting up early in the morning. I want to go to bed early. And then these two little girls got out of the camper, and I was like, this is not going to be good. So I doubled back, and I was like, maybe solitary's better, So I set up my tent and everything. Didn't change yet because I was contemplating going up to the top of the hill. Rewind. I stopped in St. Joe when I got there at the Dairy Queen. Steak finger basket and a medium blizzard. So, and that's like 8 miles from 4R at best.
Yeah, if that much.
So when I got there, that was about 3:30 that I was at Dairy Queen. So when I got to 4R, it was, I don't know, maybe 5 o'clock, Went through all that, set up, and then I was like, you know what? I should probably try to eat something, and I can get a glass of red wine. So I was like, I can't remember how bad it is to get up to the top, so I'll just keep my clothes on, ride up there. I doubt they're that busy. The tasting room closes at 7, so it was like, I don't know, 5:45, and I was like, I bet I should go ahead and go up there. So I ride up to the top. It's 165 feet in half a mile.
It's a big climb.
Yeah. I was like, fuck this.
Oh, and we'll be throwing that climb into Roadrunner Rocks / All or Nothing coming November 15th. But anyway, go ahead.
It's a good climb. It's not as bad as it could be, honestly. The first part's the worst part. And then at the end, I was like, oh, it's already over,
It's a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah. So I rode up there. I parked my bike and went, and I was like, I feel so good. I walked in, and they're like, do you want to sit inside or outside? And I go, there's nobody sitting inside. So I was like, I'll sit outside. The sun's starting to set, getting low. And I sat out on the patio, and it was weird. I tried to explain this to Paula, but I had been solitary for 2 days at this point. Other than the slight interactions at gas stations of, I'll take this, that was it.
Right.
And it was this overwhelming just swirl of conversations and laughter and
a cacophony.
Yeah, it was too much. It was like sensory overload. And so I had already ordered some food. I ordered a bratwurst, no bun, sauerkraut, and mustard. And she brought me 3 different red wines to taste because I didn't know what I wanted. And I ordered a glass of wine. And she brought out my bratwurst. The grill closes at 6:15, by the way. Even though tasting room doesn't close till 7. The grill, And so she brings it out, and this lady was as sweet as she could be. And so I cut my bratwurst, and I start eating it, and I was like, man, this sauerkraut's ice cold. And then I reach up and touch the inside of the bratwurst. It's ice cold. Like it was pre-cooked, and they just on a pan or something.
Yeah.
And so it takes her a couple of minutes to come back by, and I go, hey, I know the grill's closed, I said, but this is literally ice cold on the inside. And she goes, well, what do you want me to do, sweetie? Do you want a whole nother one? Do you want me to make this one right? And at this point, I'd eaten I was almost full anyways. And I wanted to just get out of there. I was like, you know what? Just don't worry about it. And she's like, oh, no, that's not going to do. I'll make it right. So then I got held captive for like another 20 minutes. And she brings me out another one. At this point, I can't eat almost. So I forced down another half of it. And I'd already finished my glass of wine. I took all 3 of the samples and poured them in the glass of wine.
Suicide wine.
Yeah. But I was happy to get away from all that. It sounded weird. It seemed weird. But I was so much happier when I got back down to the bottom and it was quiet, You've
been around me way too long.
I got down there and I was like, ooh, I'm going to take a shower. And like I said, there's nobody around. And I walk in to the shower building and the shower's going. and I see nothing. And I'm like, hello, 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 like loud. And you know how they have the silo, the culvert, the tin horn. So I like knock on it, and I'm like, hello, sorry, hello, nothing. So it takes me a little bit, and I walk around, and I'm like, hello, hello, announcing myself the whole time. And the shower curtain's not even fully closed. And I look, and there's nobody in there, and the shower's just going. I'm like, I wonder how long this shower's been going. You know, the showers have a pull chain.
Right. So somebody had wrapped it or tied it off or something?
No, it was just stuck.
Ah.
And so I reach over, there's a T-post sitting right there, and I'm like, this is what this is for. But somebody just left it running and left. And, I mean, it could have been going for days. There was water everywhere, you know. And so I turned it off and then proceeded to get ready to take my shower. But I just couldn't help but think, how long has this water been going?
Yeah.
It was wild. So I took a shower. I didn't have any shampoo or anything or a towel. But I was just like, it was still glorious just to wash
Sure.
everything.
Everything.
And then I just squeegeed myself off and kind of shook dry and
You're so big now. My gracious. You've grown since I was gone.
got dressed again. And I just took over that picnic table and had all my clothes laid out and everything. And I wound down pretty early that night too. I was in bed and I had the vestibule wide open just because it was such a glorious night. And what was cool is inadvertently I had pointed my tent right, that entrance side was pointed right towards the moon. And that was the blood moon night. And the blood moon came up and I was just sitting in bed going, this is amazing. It was so just picturesque, you know. And it was so crazy. I finally just shut it because I was like, I need to get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. And at one point, you know, in the middle of the night, like you do, I got up and I had to pee. And I stumbled around, found my headlamp, put it on, opened up the tent and went, I don't even need a headlamp. It was full moon, no clouds. It was like borderline daylight. So I got up and used the restroom, went back to bed, whatever. Next day, got up and packed up, put on fresh clothes. I had brought another pair of bibs just in case, and I'm glad I did because one of the pair of bibs I rode in the first 2 days, and don't ask me why I didn't change them after the first day, but they were causing some almost cutting inside the crease of my leg, like right where by your groin area. And it was only on the left side.
He was trying hard to make me look, but I refused.
No, I wasn't trying to make you look. I was just letting you know where it was. But so I changed out of those and put on a fresh set of bibs, which was a good idea anyways. And they were so much more comfortable.
So were was the first pair a newer pair of bibs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I got home, I marked them, like, don't do long rides on these, you know. But fresh socks, fresh bibs, fresh shorts, fresh shirt, fresh bandana.
Okay.
I wore a bandana around my neck each day. And it was good. But that first 30 miles out of 4R, like all the way up to Oklahoma, basically, was once again into the wind or uphill. And I wish I would have known the route was so old at that point, because I was like, I had this like internal monologue about, fuck, it feels like Kevin knows what the weather's going to do, because every time the wind changes, I change. It's like I'm going into the wind or uphill every time. It's like, I feel like he's doing this shit on purpose.
Welcome to a Spinistry.
Yeah, I know. And I remembered, I guess it was, what day was that? Well, so I remembered the section. I've ridden it on a course before when we went through Ralston. And I remember turning off that road in Ralston and just that long ass climb.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I've been here before. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely a Spinistry course because there's every hill is in it, you know. But the hills got less and less, meaning every time I saw a hill, it's just like, okay, here we go, you know. But once I got to Lindsay, you know, there was multiple times where I was just like, you know, I could just pull over here and have Paula come get me. I started having that thought process, and then I was like,
3 days is the breaker.
yeah.
3 days is the breaker.
Well, and then I started saying, you know what, I've already gone whatever it was, 55 miles. I'm like almost halfway done with the day, you know? And I started making those bargainings like, oh, well, you know, and I wouldn't look at my mileage for hours, you know, and I'd be like, oh, I'm at mile 76. Like in a minute, I'll be at 80 and then it'll be 90, you know, and I started like doing this countdown almost.
And what was your last day mileage supposed to be?
I had calculated it about 120.
Okay.
I'll tell you the kind of the psychological head fuck at one point was, so we pop out onto 428 right there at Green Valley Circle or whatever, and the store, you know, the store with the little drag car up top.
Oh, yeah.
So went in there and got all the fluids and oatmeal cream pies. They had singles for sale for 99 cents. So I bought a couple of those. And then you had it routed down 428 and it was just, so I looked at the map and you can just double back like a mile and leg over.
Do the L.
Yeah. And so that's what
Which is the way we do it now.
Oh, okay. So that's what I did. But the store was the perk, you know. I did that, and then you meander again, and you end up on 428 again. And this was the head fuck. I get on the 428. I look to my right, and there's the 428 Greenbelt Bridge. And I'm like, man, I could just go right there and get on the south side of the Greenbelt, not do all of this to get to the top of the Greenbelt. And I was like, no, I'm going to stay the course, you know, because I wanted to cut pieces off. But I was like, no, I want to do the whole thing. And that ride where you're going west, kind of paralleling the dam road almost, that was one of the crappiest pieces of road. Like, just from a psychological standpoint, it just hit me at that point. I was just like, God, this is a grind. And then I got up to but I had a tailwind, and I didn't even realize it. But I'm going uphill. It's just a gradual uphill the whole time. And people are flying by you on that road for whatever reason. Then I turn and get onto 455 right there by the dam store. And that grind across the dam is just relentless, you know?
That is a true grind.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a headwind. So there's just, you can't let up. It's a time trial across there almost. But it was.
I assume the shoulder was dirty as shit.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Every time I've ridden it, it's dirty.
It was surprisingly not littered.
Nice.
There were a couple of random things, but nothing like I've seen it before. I mean, I've ridden across there when it's like hazardous. Like you think, I'm going to get a flat tire, I'm going to wreck or whatever.
Yep. I did get a flat tire there one time.
Yeah. That's the other thing is my tires were flawless.
And what tires were you on this trip?
Aspen STs, 2.4s.
2.4s.
I put a pump on them before I left the house Friday morning, and I didn't touch them with a pump the rest of the trip. They were perfect. Not a single problem. And I rode through a bunch of gnarly shit. Turn go. I did not take, I guess you had intended to go all the way to the tunnel and go down the equestrian trail. And I was going to follow that. But then when I passed over the dam and you can see down into the park, the equestrian parking lot was jammed full because the weather was so good.
Yep.
And I was like, I am not going to have this encounter. because I knew what it was going to turn into. And so I went on the dam climb, and came down, descended into the park. So I did clip that portion off, but it was not because I didn't want to do it. It was
Understood.
because I didn't want to have the encounter.
I get it completely.
Yeah. And then the north portion of the Greenbelt is amazing. I was flying, felt amazing. Very few people on it. I might have encountered half a dozen to a dozen people. But I mean, I looked down a couple of times and I was doing like 17 miles an hour and I wasn't even trying. It was just perfectly groomed, hard pack. The rain had sorted it out beautifully. Get to the turnaround at 428, where you do the little down circle and everything. And as soon as you get into the woods on the south side, it just turned to slop almost. And I can't remember how far into
But it wasn't closed at 428 anymore?
It wasn't closed at 428.
Understood.
Well, you go a little bit further and there's a chain across the deal and it says road closed due to flooding. And I was like, well, I'm too far to turn around at this point. I've been through worse, I'm sure. And it was interesting because I didn't even have to get off my bike. I just rode under the chain. That's how high it was. And then it just turned into like a death march almost. I mean, I tried to ride and I almost wrecked a couple of times just because it was so slick. It was just thick mud, like sloppy, greasy mud. And
it's the runoff slime.
Yeah, it's silty,
Yep.
And so I started walking. I walked probably 4 miles. I walked all the way to the entrance, essentially. The 380 entrance. And I kept thinking, man, I hope I don't encounter like a park ranger or something like that. And then I was like, because I turned 100 miles while I was walking. And I was like, even if I do encounter somebody, I'm just going to tell them, look, I'm just trying to get home. I had this whole conversation in my head and it was uneventful, but I got to the end and scraped off mud off my tires. I mean, my tires were just caked up. My shoes were caked up. And I was like, okay, put it past you. It's done, And I cleaned up everything and started rolling. And then I get to the gate. The gate's closed. And I'm like, I got to go over this gate. I am embarrassed at how long it took me to get my bike over this gate because I was tired and everything. And it had a chain in between it. And there's room to get my bike through there. So I put the front wheel over and I squeezed through. And then I realized my bike's too heavy for me to reach back and do this. So then I go back over the gate and pull my bike over. And I was just like, I'm glad nobody was here to see that. It was borderline embarrassing, but I got it done. That sidewalk now coming out of 380 Greenbelt is beautiful. It's so nice not to have to ride on with traffic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just so unfortunate that you can never get there anymore.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Denton. And then I had a great ride, just it was the horse to barn syndrome.
Sure.
I was like, it was so cool I knew where I was 90% of the time on this ride. I've ridden at least 60% of those roads.
Probably more than that.
Yeah. I was trying to be conservative, but it was, I know this portion, and it would, just click every once in a while. Oh, I know where I am. And like Wade Road, obviously, I was just like, it was so glorious, And then I got into Denton, and I just kept rolling. So rewind, I passed the dam store, didn't stop there. I'm trying to think. I think I grabbed some more water somewhere, or maybe I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, there's water fountains at the Greenbelt, so.
Yeah, I didn't get any water there.
Okay.
I just kept going. And my goal was to get here by 7:00. Because I had talked to Paula, cell phone coverage got better on day 3. And I told her, I said, I'm just trying to stay steady. I'm not trying to do anything major or anything. And I said, But I talked to her early on, and I go, my average is only like 11.5 right now. I said, if I continue at this pace, it's going to be almost dark when I get home. Because she was like, I'll see you about 5 o'clock. I was like, probably not. But my pace continued to climb. Just, I got faster and faster and faster. I mean, it got easier, obviously. But my legs also felt great. So I got here about 6:45 or something.
Nice.
But I got into, I think you had Oak Street out of town. I didn't even realize it until afterwards. And then you had slotted us Oak all the way to Bonnie Bray, and then take Bonnie Bray straight down and get on Corbin and go to Corbin to Underwood to John Payne, do gravel bomb backwards, and then come John Payne all the way down to Crawford, and then come Crawford back. I would have come Crawford back to this way.
Right.
And in retrospect, like, if I wanted to stay true to the loop, that's what I should have done. But at that point, like I
there was
said,
nothing new for you there.
right. And so I got to Oak Street, and I rode that all the way down, and I wasn't even looking at nav anymore because I was like, I know where I am. So I turned on North Texas and went down to the Apogee and went across the pedestrian bridge.
And that's the way I would redo it now. But
Yeah.
after y'all showed me that bridge, it's like, oh, this isn't everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went that way and then ended up back on Bonnie Bray and took the new Bonnie Bray, descent and all that. And I was like, it just felt every just pedal stroke closer to the house just felt so good. And I literally got to the house and I was like, I feel great. I expected to be destroyed. I expected to be like, just coming apart, and I was fine. Got in the pool, had a beer, relaxed, and I had called Paula, I guess before I got into Denton. Yeah, it was after I left the Greenbelt and was kind of, realizing how close I was and stuff, and I called Paula and I said, hey, I forgot to ask you the most important question. What's for dinner? That's that conversation that we always have, And she goes, I don't know. What are you feeling like? And I go, that's going to be impossible because everything sounds good.
Everything sounds like a winner.
I said, I'm going to give you some caveats. I said, it needs to be close. It needs to be somewhat quick. And I would like if they serve beer. And so when I got here, I was winding down and I needed to pull out my tent because it was wet and pull out my clothes and all that stuff, And then I said, you know what? Just order some pizza. So that's what we did. Ordered pizza and ate pizza. But beautiful route. Surprisingly uneventful. I couldn't have imagined it going as well as it did. I feel like I'm ready to do Rat.
Good deal.
That was the whole reason I set out to do that, just to see if I was mentally and physically prepared to do it. So I think I am. I mean, we'll see.
You're better positioned for it
Yeah.
than before the trip.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it.
That's the biggest run I've done, I think, almost ever. I mean, yeah.
Well, I think your hut-to-hut trip helped out with this.
Oh, 100%. But it was completely different, Shorter mileage, but still long hours and sustained efforts.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yep. Anything you would change equipment-wise?
I wouldn't have taken a stove. I wouldn't have taken water filter. I would have carried more food. So I was kind of limited by food pickup just because of the space I had on my bike. So that's one thing I'm going to make sure I have available for Rat is just a dedicated area for storage of food. And I think not having my stove and not having my water filter, that plenty of volume.
Yep.
So, the other thing that I have to say, thank you, Austin Whittington, gummy nerd clusters are now one of my favorite bike food.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. So good. It's such a nice kind of sour. It just wakes up your taste buds. They're easy to digest, easy to eat. They felt like they fuel really well. I went through a couple of bags of those on the trip. The other thing I noticed is I'm proud of Texas. You know, I've done plenty of rides this time of the year, right after dove season opens, and we have gotten better, it seems like. In past history, there has just been beer cans everywhere from dove hunters.
Okay.
I saw very few beer cans, and I was like, this is remarkable. So I was pretty proud about that.
Everybody's drinking THC now, so
No, I think that's just your microcosm.
there's actually something to that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
To
The
that.
whole Dan Patrick and
Yeah.
Abbott and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
And it's one of those things that where people would used to drink 6 or 8 or 10 beers.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just need 1 or 2 THC.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less
Yeah.
waste involved.
Yeah, and there's a lot less calories involved,
A
too.
lot
Yeah.
less calories and a lot earlier sleeping.
Yeah, I'm more than curious about that, obviously. But I didn't have any like major epiphany takeaways other than the physical attribute. You know, like my legs woke up and just did what they were supposed to do, and that was a great thing. Like I never had any cramps. Never had any like aches or pains or anything. My aero bars, I used the shit out of my aero bars.
They all lined up
Everything was
fine.
yeah.
Were you tracking your heart rate or were you going by feel?
I was tracking it, but I wasn't paying attention to it to the point. So here's a quick little funny story. Rewind to San Jose or San Juan Hut to Hut. We got there, and Paula sent me a picture of my heart rate monitor strap, and she's like, "Hey, I guess you didn't need this." I was like, "Fuck." So we went to the bike shop, and I bought one because I wanted one. Well, the only one they had was a Wahoo, and those are chargeable, but they have a proprietary magnetic deal that plugs into a USB-C. And so when I got it there, I charged it and everything else. Leading up to this trip, I was like, okay, make sure you charge everything. I didn't even think about my heart rate monitor strap. So Saturday morning, when I'm dicking around at LBJ Grasslands, and I'm trying to fire up my computers and run my Garmin InReach and send out my messages and stuff, I pull up my phone and I have a notification that one of my accessories, the battery is low. And I look and it says heart rate monitor. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. Tired brain. I pull out my little toolkit. I've got a spare battery in there, and I bring out my pocket knife and I open it up and I got my battery and I go over and I get my heart rate monitor and I'm like, fuck. So Saturday midday, my heart rate monitor dies. So I didn't have heart rate Saturday or Sunday, which I wasn't looking at it anyways.
Sure.
But I wish I would have had those numbers to
look back on
because my heart rate gradually just went down over the course of the 3 days. It's like I was doing more effort with less strain, I guess, if that's the way you say it. Like,
okay.
And I just felt like I got stronger as the trip went on, basically, which was a great confidence booster for Rat. So, but I will be running my other heart rate monitor strap that I have a backup battery for the Rat.
Understood.
For those reasons. I carried a battery bank. I ran my headphones, my aftershocks the whole time. I just charged them when they needed to be charged and kept my phone charged. My generator worked fine. Everything, I mean, this is going to sound kind of stupid, but I wish I would have had more problems to contend with.
I get it.
Getting back to my bike, though, my shifting went to shit again Saturday, that evening. After I'd fixed it Saturday morning, I dicked with it Sunday morning when that would have been 4R, woke up from 4R. And I kept thinking it was a byproduct of packing my handlebar bag and pushing that cable, but it wasn't. And the way that the ratio system works with the drop bar shifter is because you're running a mountain bike derailleur. Mountain bike derailleur does not have a barrel adjuster on it, and a drop bar shifter does not have a barrel adjuster on it. So when my whole setup got initially set up, I have an inline barrel adjuster and a barrel adjuster on the derailleur itself. Well, the barrel adjuster collar, the piece that slips into the derailleur, which is just supposed to take a cable so it's not threaded, right?
Right.
So it has a male piece that goes in, and then the barrel adjuster threads into that. Well, that had broke off clean at the top of the derailleur. So my barrel adjuster is just floating.
Okay.
And then I guess it had developed enough slack that the inline barrel adjuster was kind of, one of the cables was not all the way in, and so it wasn't clicking. Or, it kind of had a bend in it. So Monday, I cleaned up my bike and re-waxed my chain, did all that, and took my derailleur apart and tried to puzzle out, can I fix this derailleur, this barrel adjuster, and all this? And I ran a new internal cable, and before I did that, I took the inline barrel adjuster apart, and I noticed it had a bunch of residue built up so that cable wasn't being able to seat all the way. That's what's part of the problem here. So I cleaned all that up, and it's beautiful at this point. And I took a break. I was doing something else because I was like, man, I wanted to ride on Monday, and I really wanted to ride my Fargo. My intention is to stay on the Fargo as much as I can. But I was feeling kind of defeated because the bike shop's not open and all this. And then I had this epiphany. I was like, why do you need redundant barrel adjusters? So I was like, I felt like a genius. I was like, oh, I'll just eliminate this barrel adjuster, put the cable straight in the derailleur like it's supposed to do, and then use the inline barrel adjuster, which is better for on the bike adjustment anyways, because you can literally reach down and do it. So I did all that and flawless. Rode on Monday, perfect.
So just for clarity, so is your inline, is that under the down tube or where?
No, it's so when it comes off the bar and then makes that swoop, it's like right in that swoop.
Okay.
And then, but the real culprit of why my shifter was so sticky wasn't all the kinks and the barrel adjuster. It was my shifter inside that mechanism that likes to be like just bathed in grease, and it was bone dry. So I shifted, injected grease.
Didn't you have troubles with that before?
I have. But once I buttered that up with a bunch of Philwood grease, beautiful.
Okay.
And I rode it on Monday, like I said, just did my normal hour loop, and it was perfect. And I was like, okay, perfect. So then I did ride my Chumba last night because I wanted gears, not single speed after the weekend.
Understood.
So it was good. So good. And I can't thank you enough for being that resource where I can just, I realize how lucky I am to have you as a friend and have you as a resource where I can just say, hey, do you have a 300-mile route? And you just, within 10 minutes, you're just like, funk, there it is.
And right out your front door, basically.
Yeah. And I was like, I am so lucky. And so, like, I was frustrated Friday when I got there, and I rode past where I was supposed to turn in because it was obviously not a turn in. And I kept looking at my path and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? So I'm in the ditch trying to cower under some trees looking. And I was like, fuck, Kevin, what are you doing to me? And then I was like, he put you together a route. Like, you know, and I didn't realize that it was a, you know,
No.
a preconceived route or whatever. But, and then in the midst of all that, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was tired and I was just ready, you know, to lay down and be done for the day. But I tried to call Caleb because I knew Caleb is the computer guy and stuff. And he had my tracker. He would know exactly where I was. He could look at the map and kind of, because I couldn't even pull stuff up.
Sure.
And he didn't answer. No big deal. But he was at a birthday celebration. It was his birthday this weekend. Happy birthday, DJ Caleb.
Happy birthday, DJ Caleb.
And,
What is he, like 28 now?
I think he's 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks amazing though. He texted me like, I don't know. I don't know how soon he texted me after that, but I didn't get it till like 3 hours later. I was already cooking dinner, and he's like, "Hey, I'm at a birthday deal, but if it's important, I can step out or whatever." And I was like, I just texted him back, "Nah, I got it." But I had these back and forths where I was like, "Fuck Kevin," and then I was like, "Thank you, Kevin." Fuck Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. But I just wanted to say thank you for creating routes, sharing routes, and in specific this route. It was a beautiful route. So much gorgeous. I mean, there were times when I was like, I can't believe we're in Texas, you know? And we talk about that all the time. There's so much hidden beauty in Texas. And it's so diverse. You know, I mean, just in this route, the amount of terrain changes and just gravel changes. And, I mean, there was some roads that I was on that were just lightning fast. There was some brand new asphalt I was on that was like glass. There was some stuff that was just, looks like they just used all the rock in the field to pave the road. It was just super chunky. I mean, it was just a little bit of everything, you know? But the views were amazing. And I had, I don't know if this is going to even make sense, but I had on Saturday when I was Sunday, when I was rolling out a 4R, headed up towards the Red River area, I found myself, it was, you know, sunrise-ish, and I'm on this like grueling climb, just chilling, spinning. I look over and there's an entire herd of red Herefords. And they're all stopped, everything they're doing, and just looking at me. I mean, 100+ head of cattle, and every one of them has eyes locked on me. And it was so like surreal. Like all these cows in unison are going, what the fuck are you doing? And it seemed to go on forever, you know? It was such a surreal moment. But saw all the wildlife, saw a handful of like very nice bucks, which I normally on rides I see a lot of does.
Rarely see bucks.
Yeah. Saw a spotted fawn, saw tons of road
A
runners.
little late in the year for a spotted fawn.
Saw one. Saw so many pregnant cows. I was like, oh, you're about to throw a baby. Hawks galore. I won every city limit sprint and every county line sprint. It was amazing. I had no harsh interactions with anybody. Had, like I said, the mechanicals I had, I was lucky that I made it home, like was able to deal with it. Here's the other thing. I took my chain off, cleaned it up, you know, degreased it.
After you got home.
Yeah, after I got home, went to put the master link back on, and the pin fell completely out of the master link. I was like, shit, I barely made it, you know, but I had a backup master link with me. Actually, I had two with me. And then after I waxed my chain, I was like, or maybe it was before I waxed my chain. I was like, let me just check my chain. And it is stretched like beyond tolerance. So I've got a new chain coming. But
timing's right for that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. And
Yeah, this was a really good shakedown ride for you for the bike itself. It's like
yeah.
everything works. It just needs to be made ready for the big trip.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want my failures to be mechanically involved. And I don't want them to be mental, and I obviously don't want them to be physical. I want to eliminate any chance of failure from equipment or, whatever. But the biggest pause I've come away with this is what tires to run. Because I had my shop order a set of 2.25 Mezcals, which I was thinking this is the tire that I'm going to run. But after running 2.4 STs the whole weekend, I was like, man, I don't know what the roads look like. I don't know what all that looks like over the course of 1,000 miles.
None of us do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that. I'll be.
And they can change tomorrow.
I'll be honest with you. If the 2.4s didn't wear your legs out on 3 days,
Yeah.
I would err towards that side, even for the full rat. To be honest.
Well, they make a 2.2 in that tire.
Man. So here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
You could potentially run into amazingly sandy stretches out west.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Roads area, some of that can just be just pure sand,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how dry it's been out there. Or the opposite, basically from Wichita Falls on, it can be crazy muddy.
Yeah. Which let's call it a file tread. The file tread of the Aspen ST is not going to serve me well in mud. I learned that on the green belt.
Okay.
However, I think
But it also gunks up your bike less too.
that's true. But I also think that the offset of the 2.4 versus the 2.25 with tread, I think the bigger footprint obviously is going to be a little bit slower, but more comfortable. But I don't think it's a detriment in sandy conditions. I think it could work either way,
2.4 should be a little better in sand. Should be.
That's what I would think. But that's the biggest pause I've had in kind of digesting everything that occurred. Like, I was originally thinking 2.25s, I'm just going to go.
Yeah.
But then as I was riding this weekend, I was like, man, these tires are so comfortable. Like, just there's enough cushion.
And that's where the true benefit
Yeah.
is.
So
What pressure were you running on?
I have no clue.
Okay.
This much.
What? Okay, you said you aired them up before. What'd you air them up to initially?
This much.
You still do it by feel.
I always do it by feel because think about it. When you're when you're in the middle of
I
nowhere
understand.
and you pump up your tire, you don't have a pressure gauge.
Or a calibrated one
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah.
I get
So-
it. I get it.
So that's my biggest. So up until this trip, my biggest question wasn't even tires. It was Caleb and I were having this discussion over. He thinks that it's paramount, and I hate to nail him down like this because he's not here to defend himself. But he was making a big deal about, no, you need to have a full frame bag and you need to have a bladder in it and you need to drink from that bladder. And I was kind of thinking, okay, well, that changes up my whole game. And it was a little unsettling to me, but I was kind of giving into that thought process. But then after this weekend, I ran my half frame like I always do. I ran 4 bottles. I may take 5 bottles for rat and leave 1 empty for the majority of the time unless I'm going to be on big stretches. That's my thought process at this point.
That's
Yeah.
how I did it.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. But everybody's different.
Because I don't like drinking from a bladder.
I understand where Caleb's coming from.
Yeah. But that's what he knows.
That's
Yeah.
what he's comfortable with.
Yeah. So after this weekend, I'm not even contemplating anymore. I'm rolling bottles. I'm going to add a 5th bottle.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree. I agree with the 5th bottle.
Yeah.
I like the empty bottle idea.
Yeah.
I actually like that a lot.
And the other thing, I carried, because I wear glasses and I have prescription sunglasses, and I had my feed bag and it was exclusively for my glasses. And I didn't use my sunglasses the entire weekend. I just rolled regular lenses. So that's another consideration. I carried this, hard case, I could have had that bag for food.
Understood.
That was another thing that I carried and didn't use. So
I'm going to pause this real quick. I
Yeah.
got to visit the little boy's room.
that's fair.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Business taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, in short, pretty much everything's set for you for the rat, but still debating tires.
Yeah, tires are I mean, I don't think could go wrong either way.
And perfectly happy with your Durston gear tent.
Dude,
Episode whatever it is, not brought to you by Durston, but Dan.
yeah. Yeah, I'm really stoked about that tent. I can't say enough good things about it. I feel like I've said it all,
It would only be better if it were a hammock, right?
Man, I would have loved to have had a hammock on this trip, honestly. But that wasn't the purpose of the
No,
trip.
I understand.
I'm always going to prefer a hammock, but
You got a real deal test drive of the tent for
yeah.
your 1,000-mile adventure
Mm-hmm.
coming up in less than a month.
And
No, a month.
and I got really adept even in that, I only set it up twice and took it down twice, but I feel like I've got it down. I know, to me, the biggest thing is, will this fit here?
And this was your new sleeping pad too,
Mm-hmm.
and perfectly happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
How about your pillow?
I do like the pillow. I wish it had the strap where it holds it in place. I'm just not. I think I'm as comfortable as I can be sleeping on a pad on the ground, but it's not my thing still.
I understand.
But I'm gonna make it happen. Not my preference, but
Understand completely.
some things have to be done.
Some things have to be done,
Yeah.
and
Um.
I mean, you could scrounge around along the rat and hope to find the right tree set up somewhere for the right timing of when you need to stop.
Yeah.
It's just not a realistic expectation.
Well, and I think just the weather aspect too lends itself better to a tent anyways, because with a hammock, I mean, even, it's October, you don't know what the weather's going to be, but even if it dips into the 50s at night,
Yeah.
I'd be much colder in a hammock, which means I would have to pack a lot more stuff. So
Our first year of the rat, it was first or second year of the rat. It's when we still did Copper Breaks State Park.
mm-hmm.
And Teresa was in a hammock that year, and we had a cold night, and I mean, she had Barry along for support in the van, and brought all the quilts and everything else, and she gave up on the hammock on that one. It was just with everything. It was too damn cold.
I mean, the hammock, I don't know the science, but it seems like it's at least 10 degrees cooler, So there's a lot more insulation factor and everything else in the tent,
It's going to be interesting to see how our weather works out this year. I have no idea what to expect.
So I was talking to, I think, Shannon the other day, and I said, I don't know what the Farmer's Almanac says, but I'm telling you what Brad's Almanac says. We're going to have a shitty winter. I just have this feeling. And I know winter doesn't necessarily start in Texas in October, but sometimes it can.
Sometimes it can. Yeah, usually somewhere in October, if it's going to be a bad winter, we'll have a unexpected cold snap in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that I hadn't contemplated until just now is I will have to carry more layers, and more insulation for my sleep system. All I carried, so that's the other thing. Hold up. Let's rewind. Here's what I carried. I carried, the temperatures were only supposed to get into the high 60s. So I carried my pad, my pillow, sleeping bag liner,
Okay.
spare pair of socks, and that was it.
Okay.
Oh, pullover puffy, long sleeve,
Okay.
no hood, just a pullover zip up parka hoodie. Not hoodie, puffy. And the first night I used all of that, and then my extra shirt I used as almost a skirt around my legs. I used that both nights actually. But that first night, the Grasslands, it got down to 60 degrees, and I woke up shivering slightly. That was the other reason I didn't sleep very well.
Okay.
So if I could have rewound, I would have brought slightly more clothes, even if it was just a pair of leggings, you know.
Plenty of room in the saddlebag for more.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah. So that's, I'm definitely going to have to ascertain what clothing and insulation to bring.
They just changed the flight pattern on us, obviously.
Yeah. Those are the things, and those will be, audibles leading up to
Sure.
the week of. I mean, and then you still got to overpack, but
You have no choice.
yeah. So I can't wait. I'm nervous. I'm excited. It's been forever in the making. I've been wanting to do this since you announced the very first one, and I feel like a shithead because I haven't just done it before. Even do it just to fail, to see why I can't do it. And I think part of me, if I'm honest, I didn't want to do it and not be able to do it. I didn't want to go into it going, I don't think I can do this, but let's try.
Right. No, I get it.
But now I almost feel,
All right. So let's double back on that a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. So, I mean, in all fairness,
Mm-hmm.
you've been training for well over a year now, kind of on a structured approach, right?
I mean, yeah.
I
I did kind of plant a flag in the
I mean, I want to say it was spring of 24.
yeah.
We really started talking about formalizing the riding every day approach for
Yeah.
you, somewhere around there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, oh, you did that because of the rat,
Right.
but fair to say, just starting to
Gain overall fitness. Yeah.
just putting a structure into it
Yeah.
has helped get you to that point. Yes.
Tremendously. Yeah. I was texting with Austin yesterday, and I go, hey, not for nothing, I just have to say this because it'll never happen again, but I had 12 more hours on the bike than you last week. I ended up with 31 and a half hours on the bike last week.
Nice.
So
Nice.
400 and something miles or something like that.
And so what, with the rat week, maybe you'll be somewhere in the 60 to 80 hour
Yeah.
week. Potentially. We'll see how it goes.
More than that, I imagine.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
You don't know until you know.
Yeah.
Now I gotta say this.
Mhm.
I bringing up Austin for probably the third time this conversation
Mm-hmm.
already. That our sit down with Austin's actually been a game changer for me. In that, I'm not saying that I have embraced the Zone 1 revolution per
Mm-hmm.
se, but it does help with the I don't give a fuck. I'm riding my bike today.
Mhm.
Sort. So if I'm not feeling it per se,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go out and pedal my bike and have a good time. That makes
Which you should do anyway.
which you should do anyway.
But so many of us lose sight of
It's
that.
so, well, it's like, oh, I got to get in my 90 minutes today,
Yeah.
and I need to average 132 beats. Or
Yeah.
whatever. We all
Set these expectations.
you have to have a plan to create the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline doesn't just fall out of your ass.
Right.
Discipline is based on
Mhm.
some remnant of a plan.
But so many people have said it so many different ways, but I was talking to one of Kieran's friends about going to the gym the other day, and he said, man, I really didn't want to go to the gym today. And I go, that's the most important day to go to the gym.
That's what that leads into what I meant by that zone one. You know, it's like if you're starting to have that dread, sense of dread, just get on the bike to go have fun. I'm just going to pedal my bike and enjoy the day.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah. But the days that you don't want to ride your bike are the most
Those are the most important.
Because it's easy to ride your bike when you want to ride your bike, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the reality is 10 minutes into it on the day you don't want to ride your bike, you go, oh, I'm so fucking glad I rode my bike today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world. And that's been, and no, episode 100, whatever it is, not brought to you by Brompton by any stretch of the imagination. But just having that, like yesterday, I went to get an oil change. I can't have the bike on the rack at the dealership while I'm doing all that shit. So I throw the Brompton in the back seat of the bike or of the truck. And after the oil change, I go ride my bike.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's 18 miles. There's an hour and a half just pedaling my bike, having a good day. And you know what? The bike's still in the back seat. The helmet's still there. I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go ride my bike somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? And while we were off on the adventures that we were off on, just not having to worry about dragging a bike in and out of a hotel room, or is it going to be safe here? Or oh my God, I've got a stupid story. I got to share this one.
Go for it.
Actually, now that I think about it, damn good thing I didn't have a hit track with a bike on it. So we had touched on the THC drinks.
God,
So-
this story's developing nice.
So our biggest rigmarole of our multi-state, multi-week adventure was basically neither my wife nor myself really drink alcohol anymore. And when you're traversing multiple states, all of which have varying legality of the THC infused drink somehow or another, but nobody's on the same page.
Right.
Can't figure out who's doing what where. Florida, we figured out pretty quickly. Okay, this is a piece of cake. Got Florida sorted out. Georgia, we never quite figured out. We still haven't figured out Georgia. Technically, they're supposed to be legal there, but we haven't figured out, outside of going to Atlanta, we couldn't figure out where to actually buy this stuff. When I went to North Carolina to visit some friends, piece of cake there. But we knew we were going to be running out, and because the wife had called an audible for another week in Georgia, and we knew we were going to be running out, and I really didn't feel like just driving all over the state of Georgia, half-assed trying to figure out what was going on, where to find something. So on my way back from North Carolina, because I left pre-dawn North Carolina, so I couldn't go in the store at 5:30 a.m. and and load up on a week's worth of THC drinks.
You were going to bootleg that shit.
Eastbound and
Eastbound, well, westbound. isn't it?
south, actually southbound.
Southbound. I know.
Load them up and truck them out. Figured out there's a Total Wine in Greenville, South Carolina that opens at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning, which is when I'm coming back.
Man, that's... Just take that. Just
I know.
take a second and think about that.
Dude,
9 a.m. on a Sunday. Like, we live in the Bible Belt. I haven't seen a liquor store open on Sunday. Like, you know,
Ever.
Yeah.
Not in Texas.
Yeah.
So
sorry, that took a second to just process through.
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. So, all right. So I show up at 8:55. Well, I mean,
Like a fiend.
it's literally on my way from North Carolina to Monticello. And basically, I'm going through just at the right time. Timing was almost perfect. And I show up at 8:55. And my usual system is I show up in a retail parking lot, and I park at the end of the parking lot, away from everybody, don't have to deal with anything. I got to thinking about it, it's like, oh man, I'm going to be bringing out a cart full of shit. Because I know I'm not going to be able to carry all this stuff in my hands without breaking something. So it's like, all right, I'm going to park next to the shopping cart, drop off.
Yeah.
Which is right at the front. But hey, it's 8:55 on a Sunday morning. I'm the only one in the store. No big deal. So I go in, mill around, And this place is just rocking the THC drinks. Every end cap, every display, it's all the different. It's like it's a smorgasbord.
Mm-hmm.
So I grab a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Oh, got this like straight. Basically, it's like a jug of THC drink.
Yeah, I have one of those. I forgot what it's called. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, it was like 8 milligrams for every ounce.
Yeah, mine's 10. I think it's 160 for the whole bottle or something like that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like $30.
Yeah. So you can make a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I bought some of that, and I've not played with it enough.
Understood. And that was going to be my fallback. It's like, well, we'll always have this around just in case, sort of thing. So yeah, it's like my Everclear, my THC Everclear is basically what it is. All right, so I load up at the store. I'm coming out, and there's a gazillion people in the parking lot at 9:05.
Wow.
This is nuts. I'm like, what? I was kind of embarrassed to be at a liquor store at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, to be honest with you, but you got to do what you got to do.
They don't know you, Kevin.
I understand.
This
is my literally beat in Catholic guilt that just, overshadows my entire being.
In the words of the Buddha, let that shit go.
I understand. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. And the THC infused drinks are helping with that.
Yeah.
But regardless, throw the stuff in the back seat of the truck, put the shopping cart away. Oh, and to top it off, at 9:05 on a Sunday morning, everybody in this parking lot, I'm the young one.
Oh, wow.
It's really, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, but everybody's elderly. We'll be gracious. I mean, I thought Florida was God's waiting room, but anyway. So I get in the truck. I go to back out. I'm backing out nice. And there's a guy, old man, doddering with his shopping cart, coming out, and he's doing that zigzag across the parking lot thing.
Trying to figure out where his car is.
I guess. I don't know. And I'm just trying to figure out where he's going. So I'm backing up. I'm looking up. I'm watching. Is he going left? Is he going right? I think he's going against the curb. I'm going to back up a little bit more. Start to turn. Clunk. Pow. Boom. I backed right into a car right behind me in the parking lot because I was looking up at this guy and still rolling back just a touch.
Your new truck doesn't have all the dummy buzzers and sensors.
I thought it did. That said, I never lean on them to begin with. So I'm not sure.
I can't imagine that brand new truck, when you're backing up it's not going.
I'm again.
Yeah.
I don't lean on those. I'm not spoiled by them.
Yeah.
I'm surprised as well.
Same, by the way.
And I could have sworn I had heard it in the past. There is one. On all the drive home, I kept looking because I've got a gazillion buttons across underneath the display and manual buttons. One of them is an aux button. It's just AUX, auxiliary.
That's if you want to put a light bar or something.
Well, one would think.
Yeah.
But I noticed that it used to always be on from when I first bought the truck. And it was not on anymore. So I don't know. I'll have to dig a little deeper in that. Thank you for the reminder. That was a plan of mine once I got home.
Yeah.
So that is on my to-do list for today, is to clarify that. But anyway, so I backed into the vehicle behind me. Thank God I did not have a bicycle rack and a bike on there. God knows what it would have done to the bicycle.
Yeah.
That said, all it did on my bumper was just push it in a little bit. Not a big deal. Of course, I get out. Now I'm looking at the old man. It's like, is this Ford yours? This Ford Edge or some SUV thing. He's like, not mine, but you looked it good. Gee, thanks. It's because you're doddering ass zigzagging across the parking lot.
Well, let's be fair. It wasn't his fault. He was just a distraction.
He was a distraction. He contributed to the situation.
Yeah.
If he had been walking in a straight line, it wouldn't have happened. But it was my fault.
Yeah.
I own that.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I pull up, coincidentally, the very next guy that comes out the door, is that your Ford over there? Yes, it is. Brand new. You like it? It's like, I kind of creased your tailgate a little bit
Yeah.
there. Oh, good God. It's like, but anyway, everything went pleasantly there.
Yeah.
He called the police. We exchanged information. Everything's done.
Officer, I was just here to buy THC.
I was just here to buy $150 worth of THC.
Well, to make you feel better, I'll share a story with you.
Well, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
So the gentleman's name was Hugh. It's actually Daniel Hugh, but the first it's like I don't know. Whenever I go to the Carolinas, there's lots of people named Hugh for some reason. I don't know why. Carolina people explain this to me. It's like there's lots of Hughs around. Well, actually, if you look at my license, my name's Daniel Hugh, whatever it is. It's like, all right, well, he got over it. He was appreciative of me sticking around and all that good stuff. Took forever for Mr. Law Enforcement to get there, but he got there. Paperwork's done. Get home to Texas, going through the mail, and there's this handwritten envelope addressed to me, return address, Greenville, South Carolina. And it was Hugh was like, oh, damn, what's this going to be?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very, very nice and thoughtful handwritten letter where he was very appreciative of me being nice and sticking around. It was very nice to meet you. We had a great conversation. Just to let you know, damage isn't as bad as we thought. We're just going to pull it out and put some da-da-da-da-da-da. If you're ever in the area, look me up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
So the power of THC.
Yeah. Two stories come to mind with that. I had a situation where we were at when the Chewies over there by Wind River or whatever first opened.
Wind River. What is
where
that?
Rodeo Goat is, Unicorn Lake area, Denton, where the Cinemark is.
Okay.
Off of 35E.
Okay, I didn't know there was a Chewy's. I didn't know there was a rodeo goat, but okay, everything you're talking about.
But we went there and it was super windy.
Obviously, I never go to that side of Denton.
Super windy. And the boys were littles. And I said, hey guys, when you get out of the truck, make sure you hold on to the door. Didn't do that. And when they opened the door, they opened it and it just right into the car next to us. And I was like, oh shit. And I fussed and then something happened. I can't remember. The door got shut and then it got opened again and it did it again. So I'm like, crap. So I left a note on this person's vehicle. I tried to find you. Here's my number, my name, my driver's license, or my plate number, or what. I can't remember. I gave them all my information. I said, I'm so sorry. I want to make this right. I'm not trying to leave. Contact me and we'll work this out. And it was the same thing. This woman was over the top. Like, I can't believe, thank you for doing the right thing and all this. But she didn't just say, oh, let it be. She filed a claim and she was trying to get 20 other things fixed on her car. But it's funny because she ended up friending me on Facebook and made a post about how there are still good people in the world and all this.
Does she listen to ShiftLess?
No, hell no. But that was my little story about doing the right thing. But the backing into stuff, I have to share this story just because it's one of those, I feel so stupid. I have to share it. I don't know why I do that, but I had, in my same truck that I have now, I was pulling trailers and always had a bike rack on, and every time you put it in reverse, my seat vibrates and it tells you, hey, you're backing into something or whatever, just because you have a trailer on or a rack. And I had become completely desensitized to it. And one morning I was going to take the boys to school. My truck's parked in the straight driveway. Paula's truck's parked right behind me, our Yukon. we're running late. We get in the truck. I put it in reverse, and I used to just back out of my driveway super fast. And I just right into her car in our driveway. So we have to call and file a claim on 2 vehicles that are belong to us. And I have felt like such an idiot. And it took at least 10 years for my family to not go, make sure you don't back into mom's car, you know. But so I get where it happens and how it happens, and, you know, but.
Now that you mention that, I'm thinking maybe it is that aux button. Could be. I think maybe when I started putting hitch racks on the truck, it might have been setting off sensors. I know one of my trucks used to do that.
Yeah.
If the hitch rack was back there.
Yeah, I literally became desensitized to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Understood.
And now I have it off. But
Well, and Jan's Subaru is like completely the opposite. Literally, if you're backing up and there's a blade of grass, it slams on the brakes.
oh yeah,
And it feels like you broke something then.
yeah, it's annoying. But there's got to be a middle ground. But the other thing is, as I've grown older, I just drive older. You know, I'm a lot more slow and methodical.
I generally do. And
Yeah.
I was backing up so slow.
Yeah.
That's why there was hardly any damage, quite
Exactly.
frankly.
Exactly.
But, yeah. And don't make no mistake. I screwed up, and I feel and definitely felt stupid about it.
Yeah.
But it's like
But shit happens.
shit happens.
Yeah. It's how you deal with it that makes a difference. And just like in your case, you know, you did the right thing. Guy was appreciative, you know, and you formed a friendship. So,
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. Who knows how it'll work out?
yeah. So what happens between now and Rat for Kevin Lee?
Between now and Rat, we have Texas Gravel Champs
That's right.
next weekend, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to the Milam Green Dinner this year, but we won't go there.
Sorry. There are still spots for those listening, for people listening.
There's still spots at Texas Gravel Champs, too.
Do you want to ride your bike really hard, or you want to eat 9 courses paired with some of Texas' finest whiskey? Choice. It's your choice.
We are currently in the middle of putting together our fall and December. I'm not going to call it winter schedule yet, through December.
Yeah.
Getting that nailed down, which we're hoping includes some club rides in Florida and Georgia in December.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do. On this trip, we came up with a couple of fantastic routes for Florida Gravel Champs and Georgia Gravel Champs, a couple in each state,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how the pieces come together.
Can I sidebar with a dumb question?
Go for it.
Is there a logistical issue with crossing state lines if you're doing a route?
Potentially.
Yeah. Like from an insurance perspective, or
Not so much from an insurance
like a permit, or
from potentially permitting or state regulations around
yeah.
bicycle traffic or events or what.
Yeah.
There is potential there, and that's part of.
Because I was just thinking you could do like a Florida Georgia line themed.
Well,
ride.
I would never, never, never do that to begin with.
I just had to throw that in there. But then I thought, well, maybe there's a
But I could go.
logistical area.
I could go to Chicago and do a Lincoln Park one. That would be kind of cool, right?
Maybe.
But anyway, actually, there's Lincoln Parks everywhere.
There really is.
And that's part of the why we do a club ride in December and make sure that we get all of our state guidelines figured out and and authorizations and how that works, get all that sorted out to hopefully do our February, March, do our event.
Yeah.
Actual events is kind of the goal right now for those. But I mean, even the Florida routes I'm really, really impressed with it. The Georgia routes are just astounding.
Well, Georgia has a lot more elevation.
It's
And it's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Lush.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That can vary. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's going to vary by the time of year. The stuff we have in Florida that I put together on this particular trip was really tied to my old stomping grounds in the central part of North Florida. You really don't get any more lush than that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny. It was this little. So the town Jan and I both grew up in North Florida is called Lake City, and it's, I mean, it's like a Gainesville-ish type town, but tied to the interstate, kind of like Gainesville.
Gainesville, Texas, not
Yeah.
Gainesville, Florida.
Gainesville, Texas.
Yeah.
Sorry, for reference purposes. But along those lines, yeah, it's kind of in the middle of the Osceola National Forest. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. The only reason it exists is because a couple of interstates intersect there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much an interstate-based town. Once you get outside the city limits, it's very, very what they call old Florida, very cracker country.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it's not a derisive term there.
Right.
Or it may be now. Back in
Yeah.
the day, it wasn't. But for whatever reason, this area just kind of southeast from Lake City proper, I never spent any time in there when I lived out there for as long as we lived there. But I stomped around in the woods and the springs and the rivers in all other three directions. But this southeast corner, I'd never really spent any time in for whatever reasons that I still don't know. And that's what I was stomping around looking for routes and just found some absolutely amazing stuff. And have a state park that we've worked out some arrangements with that should be a really good staging area for at least the club ride.
Yeah.
We may be limited on space to do a big event there, but
Very cool.
very excited about that. But we're putting together our schedule. We put together our holiday ramble pie ride date for
When is
December.
that?
That will be December 7th, Sunday, December 7th.
Hopefully I can do that.
Okay. We just today announced our Roadrunner Rocks All or Nothing out of 4R, November 15th. Going to put together our Back in the Saddle out of Tioga. Figure that date, something in October.
What's the format for that, Back in the Saddle?
It's a traditional gravel grinder and some roads that we've used for other stuff over the years. Last year was our first year doing it as its own dedicated event, and just some stuff that's still kind of close to DFW proper, easily accessible, but we had never tied together into its own dedicated route. So it's always stuff we picked up a little bit when we did Holiday Ramble from the north, or when we did stuff out of Valley View, or when we came up and went around Lake Ray Roberts.
Yeah.
And now we've kind of tied it all, and pieces of the Rat and the Butterfield route.
Yeah.
That all ties together. It's really cool. Cross timbers.
Saw a couple of Butterfield plaques this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much so. So we're going to nail down that date for a weekend in October, and I have some.
Is Clark still a thing in Tioga?
It is.
Okay.
It is, and it's still pretty good.
Okay.
It's at least last year it was. Last time I
Yeah.
ate there, and that's part of what I have to figure out. I want to make sure of Clark's hours, and it determines if I do it on Saturday or Sunday, or if there's other events. Blah blah blah. This just the whole rigmarole, and like I mentioned earlier, we need to we got to figure out some sort of chef's kiss date or two that fits your schedule. Are you doing yoga stuff this season?
I have a couple.
I was just wondering about it. I hadn't heard the latest and greatest on what's going on.
I think I just have one date in October.
Okay.
Right before Rat, actually.
Before Rat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I need to look at my calendar.
Well, you do need to look at your calendar so we can nail it down. Potentially, maybe do a chef's kiss something in conjunction with Roadrunner Rocks, November 15th, maybe.
That could definitely work.
I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then Me embracing the Zone 1 revolution, courtesy of Austin Whittington, and just getting my ass back on the bike and focusing on that myself.
Well, I don't say this often, but I am not going to ride my bike today.
Okay.
I'm taking today off.
You got to do that every
Yeah.
once in a while.
Well, I got a lot of life stuff going on too. In fact, I got to get rid of this couch in my living room today because
What'd you do to your couch?
we are replacing it with not a new couch, but a new to us couch. That couch it's seen better days. I gave $200 for that couch about 8 or 9 years ago,
Okay.
and so it's served its purpose.
Understood.
And my beautiful wife has complained about it long enough that we actually found another couch. We went and looked at it yesterday, and paid half on it. But it's funny because it's in Sanger, and I literally rode right by there the day before. So I was like, I want to know right where we are. So, I was going to ask you. Red and I were talking about this last night. When you're coming out of Sanger, and I think, yeah, you're headed south, going next to the baseball fields,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the bridge out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red said that used to be a very nice new bridge.
No. That's always been an old wooden bridge with the slats across
But
it.
when you look at it on the map, it looks like concrete.
No. There's two bridges there. There's the bridge that's out, and just a little past it is the brand new concrete bridge.
But when you look at it on the map, both of them look like concrete bridges. Because Red and I were going through this last night, and I was like,
I don't think you would be able to see the wooden bridge in
because of the coverage.
Yeah.
Huh? But what was interesting that I noticed, because we went across that coming into Sanger when we went up to Isle de Bois.
When we did Isle de Bois, or Johnson Branch.
Yeah. So the thing I didn't notice then, which I thought was interesting, is there's a construction company that sits, when you're headed south, sits to the left of it, which would be east. And they have an entrance on this side of the bridge, and they have an entrance on this side of the bridge.
That's new.
So basically, if you're that construction company, you can just go through your own parking lot, but it's a private parking lot.
There's a creek there, so they got to have some sort of crossing.
I guess so, but
that's what I'm saying. That those entrances didn't used to be there like that. But
they're there now.
When
so.
you and I did our trip, that they were doing all that.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still very much closed. But that road, both sides, great shape.
it's some of the best riding to be had. That's why when I tell people, well, bridge is out, you're going to have to walk. Why are you sending this? Because the rest of the road is worth the stretch.
Yeah. In fact, to the point where, I pass the sign that says bridge out. I know. But as I'm riding, I'm just like, they've actually dressed this road up since the last time I rode it. And I start thinking, well, maybe the bridge isn't out and they forgot to take the sign down because the road was in such good shape.
Every time I think that.
Yeah.
But,
I will tell you there was tons of limbs and treetops down in that road because of the high winds that came through Friday. But
I think there's about to be something going on out there. I'm not positive.
It felt like that too.
Yeah. I think there is. So that
there was some clearing going on out there too.
Okay.
Some development looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're up to something out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yes.
I noticed that a lot on this ride this week.
Yeah. I came across a big one on my ride, not yesterday, the day before. So I did an out of my neighborhood ride, which I normally don't do.
Mm-hmm.
But with some of the expansion that's happened out my way, I can actually get away with it a little bit. And I'd was coming north up Old Denton, past that Cinnamon Creek.
Cinnamon Creek Ranch, yeah.
And everything north of that is now cleared out, and they've got a huge, that's right next to my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that all happened while we were gone.
Yeah.
And it's all cleared, and I don't know if it's a neighbor. Actually, I think it's a Tarrant Trade Center or something like that. So it's more warehouses.
Yeah.
But that's also right behind that new studio that Taylor Sheridan put together. Have you seen that?
I don't even know anything about it.
They just opened up a brand new movie studio again right next to my house. That's like the biggest movie studio outside of Hollywood or something like that. It's for all the Taylor Sheridan stuff.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to start hanging out there and just here's my screenplay. Look at this one. Look at that one. Look at this one. I actually thought about it's like maybe I'll ride through. I was looking. There was no back entrance to their place off of Old Denton. I would have ridden the bike through there. But yeah, maybe see Billy Bob.
Billy Bob. And they were doing a lot of shooting for Landman in the Denton area.
All around.
Yeah.
All around.
We had I did a private dinner not too long ago for a gentleman for his birthday, and his son is a server at Lonesome Dove. And maybe a month or two ago, he was the server for the entire Landman crew. They came in there to have dinner. And Billy Bob Thornton and what's her face, Liv Carter or whatever her name, Allie Carter, the blonde chick or whatever.
I watched one episode and it's like, this is so stupid.
But it's fun, stupid.
It was and maybe because I know too many landmen.
Yeah.
It was like.
Speaking of stupid, I'm going to see the new Spinal Tap tonight.
Oh, thank you for the reminder. I never heard. So you watched the first one. What were your thoughts after finally seeing Spinal Tap?
It was laugh out loud, stupid, funny, and it was highly enjoyable.
Good.
I can't believe I hadn't seen it before.
When you told me you hadn't seen it, I was absolutely shocked.
And I didn't realize that it was essentially one of the first mockumentaries.
It was the first mockumentary. Yeah. It really was.
I'm glad that I hadn't seen it before, I guess, maybe. But it was cool because the writer-director guy, I can't remember his name, he looks a lot like Rob Reiner. But
it is Rob Reiner.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's why he looks like him.
I was about to say, you mean Rob Reiner?
But he gives like this build-up, like kind of a breakdown before the movie and like talking about when I first did this and all this. And then afterwards, there's a little digestion period too, where he comes back and says a couple of things about the movie and stuff. And it was cool. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was astounded that I had never seen it before. It's funny to quote a movie that you've never seen, but I knew so many quotes from that movie.
It goes to 11.
Yeah, nothing blacker. It was interesting because it was like I backdoored some of that stuff, So I'm interested to go see the new one tonight. So
very good. I was extremely curious when you brought it up. It's like, I'm pretty certain it still holds up, but I have not seen it in years.
It's ridiculously funny.
Good.
Ridiculously funny. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I can't wait to see the new one. So
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah.
But I will wait till it makes it to streaming.
Yeah.
Myself. It's the way I do things. If it was 6 months, a year before the streaming made it, or the movies made it to streaming,
yeah.
But man, when they turn around in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to go to the theater.
And that's where I am with F1. I want to see that F1 movie. But,
I want to see
but
that.
I'm going to wait for that to come to
Yeah.
streaming. So
Very much so. I did watch a couple in the last couple days that Heat still holds up, but not as strong as I thought it would. I'm not saying I was disappointed in it. It was just I remembered it being better, for lack of a better, if that makes any sense. But speaking of Taylor Sheridan, Hell or High Water still holds up.
Oh my God, what a great movie. But I still think I like No Country for Old Men better.
I do like No Country better.
Yeah.
It's my ratness that makes Hell or High Water makes me tear up.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is all the rat.
Yeah.
Every bit of, even though it's mostly shot in New Mexico, they're still getting and it's the rat towns and everything like that. It's so, but as an actual movie, No Country's Sicario's even better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I watched Sicario recently. It is a very good movie.
Sicario's awesome.
Caleb sent me a text and said weapons, which isn't even on my radar. as a movie, and I don't even know what that movie. I
Is that
to look for it.
is I've seen it looks interesting.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember who's in it now. I remember seeing something on it. Is that Clooney or is that somebody else?
I don't know. Did you watch Wolves?
I tried to. It didn't work for me.
Oh. Huh. I love.
That's the Brad Pitt Clooney one,
Yeah,
right?
I like that dynamic. I thought it was very good.
It wasn't, and maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind at the time.
It wasn't as bad as Men Staring at Goats.
That one's bad.
Awful.
That one's
Awful.
bad. Clooney's stuff for me is usually either really over the top good or really, it didn't do much for me. But the stuff of his, like Michael Clayton, it's like, that's just
What is Michael Clayton?
it's very slow. It's very dry. It's very,
That sounds like your bag.
no, it is. It's
Yeah.
really good. I really like it, but it's very performance based for everybody that's in it. It's Michael Clayton is really.
That's the name of the movie, Michael Clayton?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
You might like it.
Yeah.
You'll either like it very much or you'll very much dislike it very much.
I haven't seen the new Wes Anderson either. I can't even remember what that's called.
I didn't even know there was a new Wes Anderson.
I forget what it's called.
Okay. I hate it.
Back to bikes though.
Okay, we're over 2 hours. Nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening. Nobody's listening except for Rich. I'm so out of touch with bike news right now.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at in really anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the notifications. Here's a news story that comes out, and I look at it. It's like there's nothing here.
Yeah.
Did you see the Berm Peak about your DJI bike?
I did. I watched that.
What were your thoughts of
Last night.
his opinions,
So I really like that guy.
Seth?
He's a little annoying, and he's become increasingly so. This is my personal opinion.
Okay.
And he's overly dramatic when he's making his points. Like, I get exactly what he's saying, but he feels, now when I watch it, and this isn't going to make perfect sense, but it's almost like an after-school special or something. He's overly dramatic, and the whole sticker application and all that stuff, and I get his point. I totally get his point. And I get that there has to be a ceiling for things, but I do appreciate his refocus on personal responsibility, which is where I kind of fall. Like, I think that people should be personally responsible. You know, you have the ability to break the law, but don't break the law. Don't ruin it for everybody, which I think that the DJI Avinox is an avenue for people to ruin it for everybody and to actually turn e-bikers against e-bikers, which is a bad thing.
I think it's going to.
Yeah.
Quite frank, not throwing the whole ball in DJI's court, but his point, I think, is extremely valid. The byproduct of this will be this. It's not going to limit e-bikes of 1,000 watts or more.
Right.
This is going to limit e-bike access for everybody on an e-bike.
Yeah.
That is what will happen.
Well, and there's going to be a pendulum swing. You know, I mean,
I don't know.
there's going to be an overcorrection, and then years later there will be
years.
Yeah,
years.
Yeah, it is going to set it back.
And that's that. I think that's the point. Is the short-term pendulum swing is going to go the wrong way in that we're all going to get screwed.
Yeah,
and it's going to take years for that to rectify.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that's an accurate prediction.
I think that's why he was hammering it as much as he was. It's like, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but how many people is he going to reach with his PSA? You know?
No, I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
But I think so. I'll put on my Seth hat. Because I know I've spent way too much time trying to educate the e-bike enduro and that have no use for traditional trail courtesy
Mm-hmm.
and the way things have been done in the outdoors in the traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey man, I'm just going to send it.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to reach that audience, which I don't think you can reach
Right.
to begin with.
Yeah. Well, first of all, they're not consuming your content.
I don't agree with.
Second of all, I don't think they want to hear what you're saying.
That I do agree with.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to go the other way.
But I do feel like, even though I'm not invested in the e-bike market, I don't own an e-bike, I do feel the pain point there, because it has taken years for e-bikes to gain, no pun intended, the traction that they have and the acceptance that they've had, only to see this looming thing that we know is going to pull it back years.
Yep.
And it's going to take years to recover from that. But the DJI Avinox is still the number one bike on my e-bike list. If I was to have the coin, that's the bike I would want.
And I have no interest in it. Do I have interest in riding one and checking one out?
Yeah.
Very definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm one that I would actually lean the opposite way. My ideal bike now, after spending time on the Tributary and the Salsa Confluence both, it's like, give me a Salsa Confluence with the battery life of a Tributary, but the weight of the Confluence. That's my ideal e-bike right now. And even in a mountain bike form, give me a hardtail mountain bike that basically with the same base. I would love that bike.
Yeah.
But that's not what the e-bike market. The e-bike market is more watts, more torque,
Yeah.
more
And lighter,
and
faster.
lighter and faster.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a good point. Do you really need to go uphill at 22 miles an hour? Not really.
No. Have you been watching? Did you watch any of the Made coverage?
No, I did not.
Do yourself a favor and watch that. This is going to bring up a whole nother topic: 32-inch tires.
I saw allusions to that,
Mm-hmm.
and to be perfectly fair, this whole time we were gone,
Mm-hmm.
we did not have. I mean, outside of when I was on my computer looking at YouTube or whatever, which I didn't do much of, we didn't watch any YouTube or anything like that.
Good for you.
We didn't have any TV available to us, I say that when we were in Florida, we did. When we got to Georgia, all we had was the Starlink, and we needed to save all the bandwidth for work stuff.
Good for you. Seriously, good for you.
And it was, I didn't
miss it.
I didn't miss it outside of staying up to speed on current events.
Yeah.
So, but that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because how much do you really need to stay up to speed on
Well,
current events?
I bring up 32-inch tires, though, because it was a big cross-section of the Made show, which took place in Oregon, Portland, Oregon.
I saw a couple of allusions to it, and I was surprised at that it seemed to be making such a kerfluffle.
Well, if we rewind to the inception of the 29er, it took so long for that to develop because of one major hiccup. There weren't tires. And so
That was a major, there were numerous major hiccups, but that was definitely a major hiccup.
But so, unbeknownst to a lot of people, the Maxxis, I can't remember what tire it is, that they released, it may have been an Aspen, I'm not sure. They released it like 2 years ago, very quietly at the Taipei Cycling Show.
I remember that. Pretty sure we talked about it.
Yeah, and it just kind of got a little bit of attention, but it was just a blip on the radar. But what they did, whether knowingly or unknowingly, I'm sure it was the intention, because it's a heavy investment, to come out with a new tire, new size tire.
Yeah, the molds themselves it's a full business model investment.
Yeah, but that's the long play to release it 2 years ago, and now you're just now seeing them come to market, because you have to have the tire to make the rim, and then you have to have the rim and the tire to create the bike, to try it, to test it, to make adjustments. So it was very interesting to see, nearly 2 years later, bike builders producing bikes and giving feedback of, it's not just hype. I think the 32-incher may be a new standard that is going to work in a lot of applications, even gravel. Because just like a 29er, it's harder to spin up, but once you get it spun, it wants to stay spinning, you know? And the same attributes that we applied to 29er versus 26,
Sure.
you've got the same thing going on. You've got a bigger footprint, more contact patch.
And the more shallow rollover.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That, for me, that was always the biggest deal of
Mm-hmm.
29, particularly on mountain biking. Well, I mean, obviously with mountain biking.
Yeah.
It comes into play on gravel as well when you hit chunky stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I'm on that Brompton,
Yeah.
cruising along on
Can't even
chunky
imagine. Yeah.
it's not as bad as you would think,
Yeah.
but you go, sure would be nice to be on a 700 or a 29er
Yeah.
right now.
That's the thing I've never understood 650B gravel bikes. I mean, I get it if you're a smaller stature person. You know, that was the biggest thing for me transitioning from 26 to 29er. I always felt like a clown sitting on top of
Right,
a bike.
right.
And when I finally found a 29er, I felt like I was in the cockpit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was obvious somebody's vested interest to try. More than likely, it was somebody that was just trying to do something different
Mm-hmm.
to stand out from the crowd, sort of thing.
And the whole 27.5-inch thing never
Well,
made sense to me either.
Well, they're the same. It's
Yeah.
650B and 27.
Yeah.
They, for whatever reason. Well, no, actually, I do know the reason.
They were trying to split the difference.
Somebody was just trying to find uncharted ground because
Yeah.
the people, Salsa, when they came out with the gravel bikes to begin with, when they were first to market with real deal gravel bikes and drop bar mountain bikes, they owned that market for a while, and it took a couple years for everyone else to catch up.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody went out there with 650Bs, 27.5, and everybody else said, well, we can't wait 3 years to catch up. We got to jump in on it at this. I think that's basically what happened. There was no demand for 27.5.
And you know why it didn't gain any traction in my stable? Is because I already had 3 29ers, and I didn't want a bike with completely different wheels. I can't change tires. I can't change wheels in between bikes and stuff like that. So it made no sense to me.
To me, 27.5 didn't make sense. I thought the concept of 27.5 plus did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once I tried it, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That was a waste of I-9 wheels.
Yeah. 29 plus makes more sense to me.
29 plus does make more sense.
But I think, I feel it may not be fast, but I think that 32-inch format is going to be a big topic of discussion 2 years from now. I think it's going to gain a lot more traction. It's going to develop a lot quicker than 29er did.
I'm going to vehemently disagree.
Okay.
But I'm more than happy to be wrong. I think it's
Think it's a flash?
I think there's too many pieces stacked against it to succeed and not enough benefit for their.
Let me ask you this. Sidebar bet.
Sure.
2 years from now, September 2027.
Okay.
Will Specialized, Giant, Trek, Cannondale, whoever else you want to throw in the mix, will they have a 32-inch bike?
All of them?
No. Will any of them? And if one of
Oh,
them,
yeah,
if one of them does, the others will.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think will it be pursued?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, because that's the nature of the bike industry.
A new standard.
We always want to find the N+1 that forces current bike customers to buy something new. So from that standpoint, yes, I think 32-inch will be talked about, and they'll be trying to drive that market. I don't think it will succeed. I think that's a better clarification of what I'm trying to say.
So you think it'll peak out and just die
I think
off?
it's the next 27.5.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I think it's the next fat bike.
So you're not curious at all?
will I take one for a spin? Sure. It's not jumping out at me as, let me give you the short answer.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck am I going to do for a bike rack for a 32 inch? I'm going to have to go buy a whole new bike rack just for a 32 inch.
I hadn't even thought about that.
But
That's a super valid point.
it's all of those pieces that are, how much room is this going to take up in my garage? Oh, my work stand that just does give me tire clearance now, and it doesn't go up another 6 inches or whatever else, just all those little pieces that.
I can't help but think that I would love a bike just like my Fargo that was a 32 inch drop bar mountain bike that I could do bike packing, single track, gravel, that kind of stuff. For someone like me, 6'3".
Now, if you want to take it to the 6'5" and 7 foot, that makes all the 32 and 36 inch wheels, that makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
For super tall people. I don't disagree with that at all. But let's take the generic 5'10" to 6 foot tall guy.
Yeah.
Are they gonna benefit as much from that 32 inch wheel? I don't think so. Is there gonna be a different ride to it being in the middle of those two even bigger gyroscopes? Hell yeah, there will be a difference.
Yeah.
Is it better? I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Like I said, I'm curious.
I'm super curious.
I'll take one for a spin, and I could be proven wrong.
Yeah.
I was not anti 29er. I held off from it longer than most.
Yeah.
Because I had so many 26 inch bikes. It's like once I start going down that, it's like.
Right. That's what I was saying with the 26.
Yeah. But I mean, the first time I rode a 29er was Truman's Gary Fisher, Super Caliber or whatever it was.
Miss you, Truman.
So much. But that was before they got the wheels dialed in.
Yeah, tires,
and the geometry.
Oh yeah, the geometry was so fucked in the beginning.
And then when I got that big, when I demoed the demo big top that Mad Duck had, took that first spin. It's like, oh my God, this is.
They figured it out.
They figured it out, and that was 2010.
Yeah. Well, Surly did, their Karate Monkey. Solo's Karate Monkey, I still remember the first time I rode it at Tyler State Park. And he had Jones bars on it, which I was also interested in. But it was the first time I rode a 29er, and I was like, I get it. I'm not sitting on top of a bike anymore. I'm sitting in a bike.
And that Gary Fisher wasn't that way.
Right.
So, but, all right, you keep looking at your watch. So we're up, obviously, we're 2 hours and 22 minutes. What the hell?
Oh, we had a lot to talk about. It's been a minute.
It's been a while. Oh, you're one of the cool kids.
I said we were going to keep kicking it down the road. Oh, well, we're supposed to get hotter weather, but I'm headed to Mena, Arkansas this weekend. So going to go hopefully do some gravel riding up there. And I haven't figured it out, but I'm going to try to stay on my Fargo as much as I can. But I may take a mountain bike as well. So,
why?
I don't know. Because there's good trail there.
I understand that. Fargo does trail.
No, not that trail. That's a different animal up there. But
well, yeah, we don't want you getting hurt before the rat. That's for sure.
Definitely. That's the one thing.
Actually, I would suggest staying off the trail.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
It was part of my thought process last night when I was riding. We took off from Mad Shelter, and first of all, I'm obviously not recovered, but I feel very good. Feel surprisingly good. But we took off and we're riding, and I look down and my heart rate's 159. And I'm like, this is not recovery pace. This is not good. So I let everybody go, and then I'm still riding pretty spirited. I mean, I turned a 104 east side, which is not bad for dead legs, But there was quite a few times where I was like, I do not want to wreck right now. I'm almost a month out from, and I don't want to take myself out of rat because of something stupid,
Sure.
So it was definitely lingering in my head.
That reminds me. Yeah, so I'm up against it equipment-wise. I evidently need a new computer now.
Mm-hmm.
My Wahoo's been acting funky.
But you've been chorus curious for a while. Right?
I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that.
Figured that's all you needed.
I what is that?
I was just wondering if you saw my sticker.
No, I can't see it. What's this? Oh, San Juan Huts. Bike something ski?
Bike, hike, ski.
Bike, hike, ski.
It's the most expensive sticker on my computer.
I don't know. That ShiftLess one's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe not to you.
No, but time-wise, it definitely
Okay,
is.
yeah. If you want to do it on
investment in time.
Yeah.
Even if you only considered me worth $2 an hour, it's still more expensive than this sticker.
But yeah, I'm highly debating the Chorus Dura. I'm gonna give Clarence a chance to change my mind. I'll swing by there and explain what's going on.
What is going on? Because Wahoo had a big snafu in their hardware
Yeah,
recently.
they had like a
glitch.
It was like like a year 2000 bug sort of thing.
Yeah, everything was recording in like 2006 or something.
So maybe 16 or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. So yeah, I saw the updates about that, and at first I thought that wouldn't be affecting mine because I thought mine was the next generation after. But now that I look back on it, it probably wasn't. It probably was. But mine was starting to act a little weird before that. I did get the firmware update, and it seemed to do better after that. But then the last couple rides, it's doing this thing where it doesn't work. I'll just leave it at that. And then it starts working. And I need it to be more dependable than that.
Can I tell you that I can't recommend the Garmin 1080S enough? I think it's time for Kevin to give Garmin another chance. But I'm also curious for you to try out the Chorus.
I'm very curious about the Chorus.
I know.
And realistically, that should be everything I need.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, simpler is better for me.
Yeah.
And I am very much interested in that extremely long battery life, the forever battery life, quite frankly.
Well, the Garmin does...
For 3 times the price.
Oh, that's fair. I know a guy. But
again, I'm gonna visit Clarence.
The solar aspect is the amazing part of it. You know.
Of the Garmin? Well, of the Chorus too.
Oh, is it solar?
It's solar.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I haven't done a deep dive on it. I'm the guy that I got the computer. I'm learning everything. I'm still learning on that computer.
And as I told you, I'm 99.875% positive that there's a setting on your Garmin where you could just take that route I sent you and reverse, and it would have reversed it for you.
So that being said, there was quite a few times. I say quite a few, at least 3 times, where I was on course, knew I was on course, knew where I was going, like knew that, okay, when I get up here, we're going to continue this direction or whatever. And it would say, U-turn in 0.5 miles, U-turn in 0.4 miles.
Okay.
And I would get to that point and the course would continue and it would still try to make me U-turn, but I was just had enough confidence to keep going.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's a function of Garmin processing a ride with GPS file or the route being older, or
it could be a combination of things. Another thing that comes into play is, like, for example, when you said you wanted the route reversed, that's fair. That's the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
What I immediately did is I went into the old route and I tried to plot control points around every intersection, which is just clicking on the line and it does a point there, because that's the one thing. When you reverse a route, it doesn't recognize, oh, you were specifically here, because when I do a spinistry route, I'll go past the shortest way to catch the more scenic way, or dirt when there's pavement or whatever.
Yeah.
Ride with GPS, if you don't have that specific, make sure that it goes to that specific point. When it reverses it, it'll take the shortest reroute and do a different route. So I clicked.
I think I would have been in a lot of trouble if I would have tried to ride that reverse route.
Possibly. So I tried clicking all the turns and make sure that when it reversed the way I had it originally around. But when I did that, it's possible there were times that I clicked a little hard potentially, and maybe it dragged a short segment and made a U-turn.
Yeah.
That can happen on those routes.
Oh, okay.
When you have 18,000 turns and plot points and everything like that, sometimes.
That being said, the other note I have is I can't remember the exact numbers, but the estimate that Ride with GPS labeled
Don't ever look at the surface data
Yeah.
for pavement and unpaved.
way underestimated how much gravel there was on that route. It was almost 60-40, and I think they had it at like 82-18 or something.
Yeah. They way under. And I used to think it was just a Texas thing, but there's other. Either Ride with GPS gets the surface data dead on accurate, or it's way off for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand they lean on OpenStreetMaps for that surface data. I get that. So I guess it's really OpenStreetMaps that has the issue. So whatever they're using for their raw files to determine that, it varies from state to state.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bunches of states, it's way off. And I fight that battle every time I put together a new event and put together a new route.
Yeah.
I'll get 20 emails from people that, what? I thought I signed up for a gravel ride. This says it's only 8% gravel.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Wait,
why.
wait for Peter to finish it, and he'll give you the exact specs. How many cars and what the wind.
And Caleb threw some of that shit at me at probably Midnight Massacre. I don't know, but it's like, wait a minute, dude, you're busting my balls on the details of this route when the first line said, whatever you do, don't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But where did you get the route that you didn't see that line?
Yeah.
So.
You know.
I know. I'm not busting Caleb's balls, even though I am.
Yeah.
Because he's not here to defend himself. Damn bastard. When are we going to see him again here?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got a truck and everything. Oh, he's got a job. That's
that's
the real issue.
I do like his new truck.
All right. We are officially over 2.5 hours. That makes
nobody's listening.
That makes it our longest episode. I'm not going to split it in two.
Okay. Do as I say, not as I do. Go ride your bike.
This bill legalizes sawed-off shotguns.